to talk about radical, unconditional self-love. I know for me, in my mind, it seems like one of the most radical thoughts I've ever had. I've read about radical forgiveness and radical acceptance, and a lot of that had to do with accepting ourselves, but also really our work with others. So for me, the idea of unconditional love, acceptance, these really had to do with my relationship with others. And when it dawned on me, what does unconditional self-love look like? It threw me into a little bit of a tailspin. So I'll say this all started with an interaction I had with somebody. And I immediately, the critic stepped in and says, you could have been nicer, you could have said it differently, you may have offended somebody. And all of this is the reaction to speaking my truth. So even though I was able to stand there and speak my truth, I didn't raise my voice, I didn't use any off-color language, I just stood in my power and spoke my truth. The immediate reaction was this shame spiral, was this self-critic. It's not safe to speak my truth. Somebody may think that I was talking out of turn, that I was being pushy. All of this started flooding in. And the thought came into my mind, I'd say, blessed from above, that no matter what I say, no matter how I act, no matter what's going on, I love myself. And I felt the internal shifting of, well, what does that mean? Does that mean that it's okay to do whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want? And it's not that it's okay. It's that no matter what I do, I love myself. I love myself unconditionally. I love myself unconditionally. And I felt myself repeating this. I love myself unconditionally. I love myself unconditionally. No matter what I do, what I say, how I act, I love myself unconditionally. And I felt my being move from tears to laughter to joy to tears. Like it was very volatile inside as these waves of emotion moved over me. And with each kind of wave, with each statement of I love myself unconditionally, I felt expansion. And then I felt expansion. And anytime the thought came in is, well, you could have, you should have, I love myself unconditionally, and just expansion and the purging of these emotions moving through my being. It doesn't mean that I don't still, monitor myself, that I'm not working the hardest I can to be impeccable with my word and my actions. It doesn't mean that I don't hold myself accountable for my actions or my behavior. I 100% do. And in a spirit of acceptance and love, no matter what I do, I love myself. And I find from that space, I'm able to truly be the best person that I can be and show up as the best person I can show up, because the triggering is not there. The pressure is not there. The constant criticism from that critic is being addressed. And so I have a more open and expansive love for myself and trust in myself that I am doing the best I can from moment to moment. So it's just amazing how this affirmation to myself, I love myself unconditionally, I love myself no matter what, allows me to open, allows my heart to open, allows me to experience a more consistent stream of joy and peace, and allows emotions to shift out of my being, to process out of my being, with an overall effect of feeling less pressure and less criticism and more freedom in my being and more trust that I actually am doing the best I can, and that I actually do love myself and all beings and want what's best for all beings. It allows me to open to the generosity of my spirit that otherwise would have spiraled And then because I was so hard on myself, I would have lashed out. So it's amazing to me how much the constriction, the criticism that we give ourselves with the intention of making sure that we are acting right, leads us to actually engage in more difficult behaviors that cause further criticism. So not only is this shame spiral kind of causing us to go within, but it also causes us to react in more negative ways. Whereas with this love spiral, with this spiraling up in this unconditional love, it allowed me to open instead of contract. It allowed me to be present in the moment while also processing waves of emotion. And it allowed me to interact better with everyone around me. I was not distracted. I was not snippy or angry or bitter. I wasn't sitting there complaining about that interaction for the rest of the evening. I was sitting there with love, and I really felt safe to speak my truth. And for me, that's a consistent thing I've been working on, is feeling safe to speak, feeling safe to be heard, that nothing bad's going to happen if I do advocate for myself, if I do speak up, if I am heard. And understanding that that is an area of trigger for me. So being gentle, cradling myself in these moments, and being gentle, showing that unconditional love. So as I explore this further, I'll share with you. But I challenge you to think of and contemplate, what does unconditional self-love look like? Have I ever experienced it? What does it feel like in my being when I say I love myself unconditionally? No matter what I do, I love myself. And to deeply feel that. How does the critic respond when I say that? How does that shift me out of shame and into joy? Let me know. Drop some info in the comments. Let me know how it's going for you. Let me know other insights that you have about self-love. This is an amazing journey, and I'm excited to travel it. Lots of love.